Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Latinaly. I've been reflecting a lot about episode one, and because currently, when you're hearing this episode, it will be September 3rd, and that's my baby's birthday. But recording this, the Latinaly podcast has been live for now 2 weeks. So I'm 2 weeks ahead, which I would like to be a month ahead, but that's okay. I have been reflecting a lot. It's been received really well, and that makes me just really grateful and really happy, especially because during the 2 years that I didn't post anything, we got 2,000 more downloads, and now just with our show being out, just for 2 weeks, we're almost at another 1,000 downloads. And I am one person. I film, I write, I edit, I design, I do the social media, and I am learning all the time. And it just makes me really proud because I know and I'm sure, and this is not a slight to anybody, but I'm so sure that if I had a production studio and a team and I invested into thousands of dollars worth of equipment and producers, and even if I had a co-host, I just feel that the growth of the Latinaly podcast would be 10 times faster. And it's just what I've seen because I don't know if the universe is trying to validate me in some way, but I, for some reason, went down a podcast rabbit hole and I was looking at two podcasts. Each of them have two hosts. One, infamously, Call Her Daddy. The second one is Unhinged. And it's really interesting because Call Her Daddy was a fallout between two friends. Unhinged was a fallout between two women that had no idea who the other person was until they started recording, which I don't even know, like, how that happens. That's almost like doing a movie without doing a chemistry read. Like, how do you know that you're going to mesh well with a person that you're hosting a show with? Evidently, they did not mesh well. Those are just two instances, and you hear so many fallout stories. And there are some podcasters, and I think that this is probably the smartest way to do things, who have their own show and then they have a show that they do with their friends or a co-host or what have you. So it's almost like you have that partnership and that group growth, but then you also have your own personal show to fall back on that you always have, that you own. And it's like that kind of feels like the safer route to me. So, in going through the rabbit hole here, the end result was pretty much the same. Actually, in both instances, the blonde got the show and the brunette was completely written out of it. I watched all four stories. I got everyone's he said, she said about the entire situation. It's crazy that that even happens. It's almost as though the entire initial format went out the window. The format that they were known for kind of went out the window, and then everyone just got written out and started doing their own thing. And it was just like kind of like whiplash a little bit. I basically say all that to say, could we be bigger? Sure. Could I have a team? Sure. But I will always do this solo. No matter if we stay with our 13,000, which, hi, love you, thank you for being here, or if we hit that 2 million plus audience size that I saw that God showed me. I don't know. So no matter the scale that we achieve, I will always do this solo. I will always own my own IP. I will always own my own RSS feed, my accounts, my emails, everything. And you will never catch me doing a he said, she said video and story times. And there will never be a deal. And I'm speaking this into existence. There will never be a deal that I have to run by someone else in the sense of agreeing to terms and splitting things and negotiating anything. The only person that I am running this deal by is my husband and a lawyer. That's it. I don't have to run it by any co-host or any production team, nothing. And so, yeah, it seems like a lot of work. I was actually talking to my girlfriend from high school about this, who she has her own show called Anything But Cliche, because her man's name is Clifton and her name is Sharice. So it's Clishay. So it's Anything But Cliche. Super cute name. Love it. So we were on the phone and we were talking about how, like, I do my socials and whatever, but we were talking about all things production and talking about just like, because she goes to a production studio and they cut and edit her things, and then she handles all like the marketing for it or whatever. So that's what we were talking about. We were talking about podcast production things, and it is a lot of work. Obviously, it is so much work. But with our 13K audience, I feel really proud of that because I did it all by myself and like no one helped me. I had some incredible guests on my show, but I didn't have like crazy heavy hitters with millions and millions. You see what I'm saying? Like, I just feel really proud. I feel like a cute little like indie show. Like, I love it so much. Some people are overnight successes, and I don't know that that will be me. I definitely believe that there will be like a viral moment that happens and then everything kind of just soars from there. But I don't ever think I'm just going to launch something. I mean, I've had this show now for 2 years, then a 2 year hiatus. That 18-month just fucking boom that these other shows have had, I don't see that happening. Also, too, these women were like single and childless, so like they had a lot of time to devote to it. I don't. Because this is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job. I have 2 kids. Like, I have a husband. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that I do in my day. This is just a passion that I love so much. It doesn't go without highlighting how much actually goes into doing a podcast. You know, a lot of people just go, I'm going to start a podcast. Period, girl. Do it. Do your thing. I have so many like personal goals and aspirations and dreams that I want for myself. And those are always going to be like self-produced and self-funded. And then I can grow my team after. Like, I don't think I'll ever have any like producing, back investors, partner. I don't think I'm ever going to do that because there's no way, shape, or form in my trauma filled first eldest daughter, just control freak self. There's no one that's going to have that much power over me and what I do and what I created. That's just never going to happen. Yeah, no, you can miss me with all of that. And it's a lot. It's too much. I am too much. I know this about myself. Absolutely. I always feel like I have something up my sleeve. I have projects that I've been working on that I haven't told a soul about. I haven't told anyone about, and I used to really do a lot of oversharing on Instagram. And it was something that I was trying out because I saw someone else do it. And it was almost like anything that she put on Instagram, it was like it was really coming to fruition for her. And I don't know why I did that because I just wanted to try it and try a new manifesting technique or a new manifesting layer on top of everything that I do already. And I don't know why I did it because it feels like it kind of shot me in the foot. And now I haven't told anybody anything. I have projects that I've been working on that not a soul knows about. And it's always like you're always doing something. You have 2 kids, you have a full-time job. How on earth are you able to do all these things? Like, have a podcast, do your lashes, do your own nails for 3 hours, build Lego, do paintings. Like, how are you, like, what? And you have time to read and like relax. Like, what? And I always get asked, like, how do you do it all? And before we get into the meat of this episode, if you are not a mom, or you have never been a mom, or you've never wanted to become a mother, this episode is probably not going to be for you because all the things that I am talking about are infused with the essence of motherhood. Even if these same ideals can be said for single childless women, I am not talking to you. So that's my preface. because I always get asked, how do I do it all? Because I have two kids. It's the knowing that I'm a mother that makes it so much more intriguing for people to ask me, how do I do it all and how do I get everything done? Because I have two children that and I work from home and I take care of them. I've seen so many interviews where people ask like these celebrities, like, how do you do it all? And they immediately come out and they're like, "Well, you never ask a man that. Would you ask a man that question? I don't see you ever." And I'm like, babe, let's not be dense. You're a mom. Men don't do it all because men cannot be mothers. If that statement triggers you, you can exit left and you can miss me with all this shit that you feel like you need to say about that. But obviously, there are certain situations in which a man has to be both. A man has to do it all and be everything all at once for his family, single fathers, and stay at home dads. But the reality is that that's not common because it's mothers who carry the emotional, physical, and mental weight of their families on a daily basis, even when they have supportive partners. I have a supportive partner. I do not have a husband that comes home and sits on his ass all day waiting for dinner to be cooked and the house to be clean and the kids to be taken care of. That's not my man. I have a real man who comes home from a 10 to 12-hour day, sitting in 2.5 hours of traffic, tidies up the house, starts dinner, mops the floors, throws in a load of laundry, gets the kids together, feeds them while I do a bath, or he'll do all of that so that I can finish work for my day. Or he'll do all of that so that I can take a bubble bath and read a book and have a glass of wine. Like, that's my man, okay? But even in doing all of that, even in being everything for everyone when he comes home, that doesn't matter to my kids. Like the other day, my husband came home, started doing all the things that he normally does when he comes home, cuddles the kids, started cleaning. I had work to finish, so I said, babe, I'm going to go into my office. He was like, go, babe, bye. I left for a minute. I was gone for about 60 seconds, and it was in that time that my son realized, where the fuck is mommy? He asked for me about 100 times. And I'm in my office and I'm like, Bubs, daddy's home. Can you ask daddy? And he's like, no, it's mommy's turn. I want mommy. And obviously, yes, I love that. I am my son's everything. Have a son and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm his everything and my children are my everything. Obviously, my son is asking for me and it's almost like these alarm bells are going off in my brain. That's like, stop what the fuck you're doing and see what your son needs. So I got up, I did all the three things at once that I had to do because I was, answering things on my Slack and I was taking care of my son. And of course, my husband like came and lended a hand to help me juggle everything so I didn't topple over. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and my husband's even helping me do it. There are times when I'm really just locked in and I have to remove all other distractions so I can get what I need to get done, even if it's just my show. It could be anything that I have to do. It's not because like I have to sit down and do work. It's like if I just need a minute and my son is screaming for me or my daughter is giving like my husband a hard time trying to get to me. Like my daughter will completely just pummel you to get to me. And my husband has to put his foot down and he has to say, you guys, no, daddy's here. What do you need? Tell me, let mommy be. Leave mommy alone. And they'll be like, okay, daddy. And then it's almost like something shifts. And now my husband is everything. And I can just focus on, what I have to focus on. Or like he'll take my kids outside and play with them, put them in the sprinkler, put them in the pool while he grills something. Like he will do what he has to do. So, needless to say, it doesn't matter that you have a partner who is completely 50-50 with you and there is a perfect balance. Mom is always going to be the primary parent. I keep my house running. I do the appointments. I handle all of the events, the family functions, and really all women do it. Depending on the kind of woman that you are, we're the glue of our extended family. We are the foundation of our family that we built at home, and we do a lot. just period. And as the eldest firstborn daughter with some, traumas, I need control in all things. Now, I surrendered control of outside things. Like ever since my honeymoon back in 2020, absolutely just I surrendered complete control. You can watch that episode. The anxiety made me sick episode. I try not to control anything anymore. However, when it comes to my house, yes, I need to exercise and execute control in all things because that is how insane my life is. Like I'll be on the phone with my girlfriend and she and I are just like chatting in the middle of the day and I'm doing 18 different things and she'll come out, she'll be like, I have no fucking idea. I have no idea how you're even on the phone with me, let alone getting everything done and you're still working. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, girl. And that's not to say that I run my house like a fucking drill sergeant. Absolutely not. I need to have an iota of control in my house with two toddlers that have an attitude like mine and a defiance like my husband's. Although I have a lot to juggle and I have two toddlers who would willingly crawl back up into my womb if they could, and I have a full-time job, I understand how privileged and blessed I am to have that life. I don't take for granted that I can get up and work in my pajamas after having breakfast with my children and we're watching Blippi, or that I can build Lego with my son in the morning on a slow day, that I don't have to pay for daycare, or I don't have to pay for a nanny because, I'm home with my children and I can be there. That still doesn't take away the fact that it is really, really difficult to do all those things, manage a home, have a full-time job, have relationships and hobbies. And I am married. So like kids or no kids, your married self is very different from the dynamic that you have with your partner as parents. Yes, your marriage is another element of something that you have to juggle in your life. There are so many different dynamics that we assume or that we are placed into that are really wonderful to have, but they're all really different. I have a family who's very obsessed with me, and I prayed for this. That is the furthest thing from a complaint, if there ever was one, because this is exactly what I wanted for my life. I have a healthy, happy home. My kids are goofy and rambunctious and adventurous and weird and quirky, and they're so funny. And my husband I've obsessed with me. You know who else is obsessed with me? My dog. Because she can hear me recording and she is at the door trying to smell. She just does like this big, like to see where I am, I guess in the room or something. So everyone in my house is obsessed with me. Have a son and you will really know the meaning of absolute true love, because oh my God, I've never had a man more obsessed with me than my son. So when my son is climbing on me and like lurching on me, my daughter, very black cat energy, my girl, but is also very obsessed with me. So when I have these two big ass kids climbing all on top of me, I say to them, I'm like, you guys, like, you're so obsessed with me. Get off me, bro. Like, that's our thing. So my son will grab onto me and he'll be like, you're obsessed with me, bro. Get off of me. Like, I'm in a meeting and I have your belly into my nose. I have an armpit on my forehead. Like, get off me. I'm trying to make a living here. And your foot is in my groin. Get off me. So it started as a joke, is now a thing with my son. Partially a joke, partially a joke. I love it here. I say all that to say that as much as I love it and adore it, and it's everything that I've ever wanted in my life, it can get overstimulating very, very quickly. And it is really difficult to be everything for everyone and myself. I yearn for some quiet. Like I just yearn for 5 fucking minutes of quiet. The problem is my sometimes moments of quiet mean pouring into my own cup personally and professionally, like doing a podcast or getting up early to work on my portfolio. Like that's the way that I find a moment of peace, is to be productive sometimes. Other times it's absolutely doing nothing, which is wonderful and amazing. I love to take those moments of quiet and work on the things that I'm really passionate about. And so, whereas some women will take that time to do absolutely nothing, period, I do too. Some days it's also work and writing my show or redoing my resume or looking for new clients or having a meeting with potential clients. Like, it's always going to be something that doesn't really revolve around my current design career, but working for me and pouring into myself professionally. Because one of the things about me is I love to work. Like, don't get me wrong, getting up and just being a mom sounds really fun and amazing and soft and really beautiful, but that's just not the way that I'm wired. So, like my husband always says, like, I wish I can just like retire you like soon. And I'm like, babe, I love that for me. But you do know that in like 3 months' time, I'm gonna end up doing something that is gonna bring in money because that's just who I am. I'd love to do things that creatively bring in an income. That's literally my entire job. So it really just speaks to society's biggest lie that we are told when we decide that we want to become parents. And it's that you have to sacrifice your identity to become a mother. What? And I think that that scares the shit out of a lot of women. And don't get me wrong, motherhood is not for everyone. And, I know that. I absolutely know that motherhood is not for everyone, but people choose to become ones anyway. But we are told that we have to sacrifice our life for the privilege to birth and raise the ones that we created. Just wait till you have kids, all traveling goes out the window, and just wait till you have kids, and you're not gonna have any time for yourself, and just wait till you have kids, you're gonna let yourself go, and you're not gonna have any hobbies, and you're gonna be miserable, and you're not gonna be able to go out to dinner, and good luck fucking your husband, and good luck going on date nights, and good luck, and it's just like, what? Why would I want that? And that's where the term comes that, like losing your pink, as they say. That the very glow and the very essence of who you are at your core goes dark after you become a mom. And I'm sorry, but I have to call bullshit. In my opinion, that's bullshit. I think that when you become a mom, I don't think that you lose your glow. I think that you refine it. I get flown out to LA for work. I go to Aruba with my husband. I take trips to Disney with my kids. I bought a new house. I paid off cars. I have a healthy marriage. I have my girlfriends. I make time for myself to be present, with my kids. I pour into my own cup and I look good while doing it. I pour into myself, my grooming, my nails, my hair, my lashes. Like, that's one of the ways that I keep my glow because that's one of the ways that I feel good. That doesn't mean that that's for everybody. Not losing your pink for some people is determined by whether or not they have a village to support them. I understand it. I don't I don't have the village that other people do, but I certainly know that I have more than a lot. My kids have three sets of grandparents. So I have my in-laws, I have my dad, and then I have my mom and my stepdad. On occasion, when I want to go on a date night, my, you know, in-laws or my dad will watch my kids. And then on occasional weekends, my mom will take my kids overnight. Or if I go to Aruba with my husband for 4 days after not taking a trip for 3 years. So I have that support. But even that is a lot more than most have. But I don't have a daily village or people in my house taking care of my kids or a nanny or a fucking au pair. I don't have cleaning help. I don't have any of that. I don't have daily help with my kids. I take my hat off to a lot of women. I take my hat off to women who are single mothers. Some women are single mothers and they have a village. Some women are single mothers and they have no one. Now, listen, you have a nanny, au pair, period, bitch. Period. You have no village, but you have your husband. Sometimes that's all we get. Tip my hat off to you. Every woman's version of motherhood, I'm like, go girl. I don't judge anybody in how they embrace their own motherhood. I think that that's insane to do that. To sit there and judge another. Listen, you don't have screens in your house? Good for you. You give your kid an iPad before 7 a.m.? Period, bitch. You do all organic and you make your food from scratch and you grow your greens in the back and you blend them up to listen, go off. Okay? Or you go to the store and you buy them pouches. Okay, bitch. Love that for you. Convenience. Oh, you send your kid to a daycare so you can go to work? That must be hard. Oh, you save money by taking care of your kids and working from home? That must be hard. People need to leave women the fuck alone. Sometimes for women, it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're damned if you want kids, you're damned if you don't want kids. You're damned if you don't want kids and you want a career. You're damned if you want kids and want a career. And it's like, we can never win. So honestly, whatever kind of mother you are, you're fucking killing it. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You rule the world. I take my hat off to you and I see you. I see you, babe. We go through so much scrutiny as women, especially women of color, especially darker women of color. The magnifying glass, it almost seems like it gets larger and larger with every milestone that you have in your life. It's like I was at the zoo yesterday with my kids, and don't get me wrong, I'm not the baddest thing walking down the block. Okay? I'm not. But the amount of dirty looks that I received from women, because I had a full beat going to the zoo. I had on a cute little outfit. I looked very put together because I'm always going to be put together. If there's one thing my titi Alice always said, it's like, you need to look good. And that's how I pour into myself that way. Because if I don't feel like I look good, then I don't feel good. And having a full face of makeup doesn't mean that that's always going to be the case. Sometimes I feel my prettiest when I have no makeup on, but my skincare is popping. So it doesn't even mean having lashes or having my fucking hair done. If I feel like I look good, I feel good. That's really it. Like, do you know how many fucking people say to me, like, I don't know how you can, do your makeup. I don't know how you do your hair or your own nails. And, you record a fucking podcast or you take clients or you work a full career, you fuck your husband, and then you have like 2 kids. Because I make time for the things that I want to make time for. And in my delusional brain, as they said in, that movie Girls Trip, I can have it all. I mean, the premise of that movie was her version of having it all was her husband and then like, the husband, the career and the whole nine. And, he was cheating on her. So her having it all is her girlfriends and whatever the fuck. Your having it all is different from the next person's. So my having it all is my career, my peace, my happiness with the family that I built and created because that's what I wanted for myself. And so doing my hair and my makeup or, putting on a pretty dress for the day, that is one of the ways that I feel like I get my pink back, or that's one of the ways where I feel really good. One of the things I do when I get up in the morning is I take a shower. It sounds like so small and it sounds so insignificant, but a lot of things really shift when you become a mom. And a lot of these moments that we take for granted, it's almost like I think to myself before I had children, I used to say, I don't have time to do anything. Oh my God, you stupid little girl. You don't have time to do anything? Well, what are you doing right now? These little things and little, like taking a shower or blowing out your hair or reading 20 minutes of a book, those are the little ways that you get your pink back. And those are the ways that you get a little bit of a glimpse of who you were when you, before you had children. And I think being able to see that woman, that she's still in there and doing little things that make you feel like her again, because we don't have to choose. We can have both. Your version of having it all can be traveling with your man all over the world and you have your career and you can work from anywhere. Or you could be a stay-at-home mom and take care of your kids and you can pour into them and you can do homeschooling. Like if that's your version of having it all, absolutely. Or you building an empire in your career. It doesn't matter what having it all looks like. If that's what you want, that's what you want. And you can have it all. Whatever version that looks like. And don't let anybody tell you, well, it's because you have this. Sorry that I have it. But if I'm able to have it all, I'm not going to, like, it's almost like people want you to like remove some of the blessings that you have in your life to meet the fact that they don't have that same thing. And I think it has to do with social media and the way that people share things nowadays, because it's almost like you can share your blessings and your wins, and someone out there is going to take it as a personal attack. And it's like, well, you only have this stuff because of XYZ. And it's like, no one likes a bitter Betty. Okay. She can share that she's a stay-at-home mom and her husband makes seven figures a month. Like, she can do that. Another woman can share that she makes seven figures a month and still has time to take care of her kids and be present. Like, you need to leave women the fuck alone, because I have it all. That doesn't mean that it doesn't come with trials. That doesn't mean that it doesn't come with hardships. There is a balance that you have to relearn in order for you to enter into the really positive side of getting completely lost in motherhood, as I have. I remember after I had my son, I posted a photo on Instagram, and I had my hair done and I had my makeup done. Now, also, let me just say, my hair and makeup, I can do it in 30 minutes. If my hair is already done from the night before, I can do my makeup in 15 minutes. I'm not sitting there for 3 hours doing my makeup. Okay. So I posted a photo of me, looking pretty done up, and like people were watching my stories and just how soft and peaceful they were and how happy I looked. And that's, I had my baby blues and stuff, but overall I was really, really losing myself in that moment of just being with my son and my husband and my new family. And it was just magical for me. And I got a comment that said, motherhood looks really, really good on you. It's almost like you were made to do this. And I'm like, yeah, I really feel that way. I really feel that I've adapted so well into motherhood. And I didn't have anyone at my house like washing my dishes or doing my laundry. Like, I didn't have this village when I came home. Like, we were just us together, learning the nuances of being parents and, being completely immersed in everything of our son. For me, it was really seamless. It was a really seamless transition. And no, that's not everyone's reality, but it was mine. And I'm so grateful to have had that, because I thought really, really long if I wanted to be a mom. And I knew I was 100% sure that I wanted to be a mother. And then I waited even longer to be 1,000,000% sure. And that sureness, that absolute confidence that bringing another human being into this world is what I wanted. And it wasn't a yearning or a longing for something that I couldn't have, like a lot of women suffer through, right? It was just, I didn't know if that was going to be my journey or not. All I knew was that I want my baby. And that that all knowing of wanting to be a mom, it makes you so much more confident when entering motherhood, because you are pretty prepared for some of the things that could probably happen. I knew very well about postpartum anxiety and depression. I didn't know much about rage until after I became a mom. But nevertheless, I read everything you could possibly read under the sun about, the aftermath of having a baby and, what your body goes through, your hormones plummeting. I read everything before my son came. I feel like it really allowed me to navigate this new world with a different understanding, because I know the realities of what is. I just don't know them by experience. I know them by reading and listening to everybody that I could to make sure that I was really prepared. This is another life, so you have to be prepared. And this balancing act that you have to relearn, or you have to learn if you're not someone that can balance or multitask. When you become a mom, oh girl, that changes very quickly. You have to be able to juggle 18 different things at once. And it's something that is learned. And it's something that once you do master it, it feels like second nature. And it allows you to really enjoy being a mom. And I don't ever really think I lost my essence in motherhood. I got lost in motherhood. I went into my own little bubble, and I think I still am, but I went into my bubble and I didn't really give a shit about what anybody else had going on in their world. I'm like, yo, my baby's showing me what a worm looks like in the grass, and we named him Fred. And my daughter is showing me a fork that I've watched 18 different times. You know, we're in the sprinklers. My son is telling me about a monster truck that I bought for him, you know, and he's asking me what the monster truck's name is. I'm in my own world. I'm in my own bubble, and I am lost. And I gotta tell you, I don't ever think I want to be found. I'm in my mom era, my soft mom era, and right now everything is all about my kids. But that's where the balance comes in. Because yes, my life revolves around my children, but I can't be that mom that is confidently present and all about her kids without pouring into my own cup for what I need so that I can be what they need. And losing yourself in motherhood could be a wonderful and beautiful thing. So when you hear women try to scare the absolute living shit out of you in becoming a mother, please don't listen to them. Take what they say with a grain of salt, because all they're doing is they're projecting their own shortcomings and their own fears onto you. Their experience is not your experience. Let's not start listening to every Tom, Dick, and Harry about how it is to be a mom, because stop it. Losing yourself in motherhood can be a wonderful and beautiful thing, because in losing myself, the only thing that I truly, truly, truly lost, meaning the only thing that was removed from me when I became a mother, was all the nasty, toxic, disgusting parts of me that no longer aligned with the vision that I had for my ideal self. Because that woman is not a good mom. That woman is a selfish, self-serving, I don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm living for me. Can't be that way when you have kids. My son healed me. If that's not what your reality looks like, that's okay. That's just what my reality looked like. I really found my divine feminine energy in becoming a mom in all of its chaotic beauty and wonder. I don't just talk about the balance of work and relationships and hobbies. I'm also talking about the balance of healing. To be a mom who has her own trauma and is healing through so many things from her childhood or her adolescent years, and trying to break generational curses while trying to raise your children to not give them trauma or to not be the source of something that they're going to have to discuss in therapy when they get older. You know how fucking hard that is? You know how difficult it is to completely remove myself, almost like disassociate, so that that really crappy part of me that is not healed yet doesn't spill out onto my children. It is so exhausting healing and trying to break generational trauma and raise your children to never feel the way that you felt growing up. It is one of the hardest things that I've ever. What the fuck? Holy shit. It's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It is most certainly the most rewarding, I would have to say, as far as, having pride in myself and who I am as a mom. But like, all the generational pain that was passed down and then put into my hand, I swallowed it and let that shit burn in my belly. And I go through the motions and I go through the healing and I go through the really, really, really shitty, dark moments by myself. And I go through the ebbs and flows of grief and mourning and anger and all this stuff. I do it in the morning before my kids wake up, because I will be damned. I will be fucking damned if that shit spills onto my children. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it will, because it's an accident and I'm a human. But healing is another thing to balance as a mom. And I really didn't know how much I had to heal until I had my son, truly. So when you add that on top of everything else, a lot of us moms who have gone through these things, girl, we're just trying to survive. And you're not choosing one life over the other. You're not choosing your life over your kid's life. That's not what this is about. This is about learning the balance of having both, both, of being that strong, wonderful woman with all those dreams and aspirations and goals and romance and ambitions, and also being the strong woman that's able to pour that into your children and speak life into your children and be happy. Be happy in being a mom. That's what this whole fucking episode is about. living in your divine feminine energy, in the chaotic beauty of being a mom. This balancing act, it's about prioritizing what is needed to get through the rest of your day. It's about understanding what needs your energy at that moment. So motherhood is not taking shit day by day. It's taking things hour by hour, minute by minute. That's how we go through our day. That's the only way I can go throughout my day because my children are always going to come first. There's a lot of pivoting. There's a lot of reprioritizing. And there are times where I literally have to do both, and I have to be both at the same time. I have to be in a meeting and listen into this gigantic call with 1,000 people and Blippi's playing on the TV or Miss Rachel's blaring in my ear of fucking icky sticky bubblegum and my kids are playing on the floor. And then there are times where I'm on a really big conference call with people who are way more important than me, and my son is actually screaming into my microphone on my laptop. So I will have to say to all these very important people who could hire and fire me, hey, I need to put my notes in the chat. Thank you. Bye. It's about pivoting and changing course at a moment's notice and saying, okay, what needs me right now? Who needs me right now? And that's what happens. I saw another mom who was working out and she had to cut her workout 20 minutes short because her son woke up. That's what it's about. It's about saying, okay, I have something on the stove, but my child is crying and is about to jump off the couch. Yeah, okay. So we're going to turn off the flame for a second. I'm going to go save my child from completely face planting into the fucking floor, and then I'm going to continue food with her on my hip. That's what I'm talking about. That's the quick pace that has to happen. If my kids were right now up screaming, I would have to pause this and go the fuck upstairs and take care of my babies. That's the balance that we have to do because my kids are always going to come first. So a lot of times it's always going to be where I'm going to shift and pivot, go to my kids, and then come back to what I was doing. One of the things that I do, I think I shared this on my Instagram story, is I time block. I have to time block my entire day. And I do it in a way that gives me a little bit of grace. I do it in a way where it's like, okay, I'll wake up at 5:30. I'm starting to wake up at 5:30 because my son starts school soon. So I want to get a little bit of my new routine and habits together now so that when he starts school, I'm not a hot ass mess. Okay. So like I'll wake up at 5:30 and like my first little block is like get ready for the day or journal and meditate. Journal and meditate is its own separate block, and at the bottom it says if the kids are still sleeping. I always love to give myself a buffer. I love to give myself an if. I love to give myself a if you're able to do it, if this aligns, right? Because, and I have it lined up from meditating and journaling to breakfast to when the kids wake up. I have their naps. I have my work time. I have my meetings in there. I have appointments in there. My whole day is blocked out. And I have a lot of blocks that overlap and layer each other because I like to give myself grace. I like to give myself time. I like to give myself big windows of time to do things also because I like to try to get a lot done in my day. That's I normally get a lot done in my day, but there are these little things that I like to do. It's my social media, make sure that I answer emails. And I like to give myself grace and a buffer. And that buffer is if the kids are asleep, if meetings are not crazy, if you have time off of work, because we already do a lot. And so the last thing that we need to see is all the things we didn't get to do that day and feel like we didn't do enough and feel like we were underproductive because that is very detrimental to our mental health. And I am not dealing with it. So I like to give myself a grace and a buffer because if I don't get to do those things that day, I am allowing myself not to do it. But if I get it done, bonus. Reframe, reworking, reprogramming our mind. That's the way that we survive. It, like I said, it is a moment by moment basis. The only thing that I think about ahead are like events, family reunions, weddings, birthdays, shit like that. Everything else, no. If you're not in my time block for the day, keep it moving. It's exhausting here, girl. It's absolutely exhausting. My hairstylist, it's funny. I have this conversation the most with my hairstylist because she and I are together like 3 hours. Like every time we're together, it's minimum 3 hours. She always asks me, how do you do it? And I never take offense to that question because how I do it is inspiration for someone else. My hairstylist is a little bit older than me. She's married. She's been with her man for eons. Same thing with me and my husband. And she's like, I know I want children. My husband wants children. He's ready. I'm not ready. And I'm like, so then you're not ready. She's like, but what if I wait too long? I'm like, girl, you'll be okay. She's like, I just don't want to give this up and give this up and give this up. I'm like, Pookalicious. It's all going to be there when you get back. This shit ain't going nowhere. Like, you're going to still be able to travel. You're just going to have to travel with a baby on your hip. You're still going to be able to go out to dinners with your husband. Your family lives right down the road. And if you don't want to have your family take care of your kid, bring your kid with you. I brought my kids to restaurants from the time that they were 1 month old. I've been bringing my kids to restaurants. My kids know how to act in a restaurant. I bring my kids everywhere with me. I don't have little hermit children. Like, if there's ever a time or an event that I'm going somewhere, I'm bringing my kids because my kids are going to know how to act in public. And I tell my girlfriend all the time, I'm like, babe, they're all going to be there. Everything's going to be there when you get back. It's toddlers that you can't do shit with. Newborns, you could do anything with a newborn. They just sleep. Just have your husband wear the baby. You have a glass of wine and everything is fine. Now, toddlers, they'll have you. Toddlers are where shit gets difficult. But if you keep bringing your baby out, then they're going to know the etiquette. Toddlers are very smart. My kids are very smart. So having your children out and about all the time, they're going to know. And so I tell her these things. And so a lot of the conversations that she and I have are of these positive moments of motherhood. And I tell her all the time, like, shit gets hard. And I tell her about the nitty gritty. And I tell her about the good, the bad, the ugly, the unbearable. I tell her about my anxiety. I tell her about my rage. I tell her everything. It's one thing to have obstacles. It's another thing to be able to adjust and adapt to these obstacles that would normally have people on their ass, and to be like water and to flow through them. And that's not to say it's easy. It's to say it takes work. And to look bad as fuck while you're doing it? Absolutely. Because my mental health matters. And so for my children, I will do anything and everything that I have to do to be the mother that they deserve. This is one of those things. I'm never going to be the hot mess mom. Hell no. Never, ever, ever me. Never gonna be me. Nope. And that's just who I am to my absolute core. And so I tell her it's about navigating and managing. Yes, there's going to have to be some changes. There's going to have to be some adjustments. There's going to have to be new rules and new policies. It's not these changes that you make when you become a mom. If this is what you really want for your life, these changes that you make do not have undertones of resentment in them. You do it out of love. So it's going to be nothing. And I tell her, I'm like, it's nothing for you. It's going to be nothing to change your schedule. It's going to be nothing because you will want to do it for your children. Because you're going to be like, oh no, fuck that. I can't be here that extra hour. I need to go home to my kids. Like, you do it with love. Listen, everything that I'm saying, all this positive shit that I'm saying about motherhood and navigating this and, adapting and being like water and handling shit with ease, I am absolutely in no way, shape, or form diminishing the hardships that a lot of moms go through. I'm talking about my experiences, in my opinion, what I've gone through, and also too what a lot of other women go through. But it's almost like we're demonized for thriving in motherhood. Girl, bye. And when I speak life into my friends that way, when I share these really great experiences that I have as a mom, I do that with a lot of women who are not moms, who want to be moms, and with women who are already mothers, who have lost their pink. I did not. I never lost my pink. I never lost my glow. Never. Because if I lost my pink and I lost my glow, I lost who I am. And so that strength that I have, that pink that I never lost, I have some to share. And so I do share it with my mom friends. And I do speak life into them. And I do pour into them. And if I can share a little of my pink so you can get yours back too, I'm going to do that. Because when I get asked, how do I do it all? I'm sharing that story. I'm sharing those experiences because I know you genuinely want to know so you can do it too. No one ever asks that because I'm not anyone of importance or notoriety. No one ever asks me that question with undertones of scrutiny. Like, shouldn't you be taking care of your children? How do you work? Like, shut the fuck up. No one's asking me that question like that. You're asking me that question because you genuinely want to know so that maybe you can take some of the things that I say and you can work them into your own world, into your own daily routine, and do things for yourself where you're like, fuck, wow, like this is really good. Like, I'm killing this shit. And I always tell my girlfriend, I always tell any of my friends, I tell my hairstylist, I tell my girlfriend, I'm like, you want to be a mom, you know 100%. Wait until you're 1,000,000%. Wait until when someone asks you that question, there is no hesitation. And there's no blip of silence where you just come out and you say, absolutely. Oh, I know it. Because you can listen to everybody else's stories. You can listen to this episode. You can listen to everyone's birth stories, everyone's motherhood stories, and everyone's references and experiences, and they will never match one to you. No one's experiences in motherhood is ever going to match yours. Talk to everybody that you want to. Get a bunch of different perspectives, ideas, habits, different techniques in parenting. Get all that stuff. But these women are not you. You will not be the same mother as them. You will not have the same children as them. You will not have the same experiences as them. You don't have the same husbands as they do. Put it all down in like a book, or keep it in the back of your mind in the little filing cabinet where you have everyone's stories organized. That way, when you become a mom, you know. It's all about insight. People telling you their experiences don't automatically mean that you've experienced them. All these things deliver insight. When you have insight, you have more confidence. When you have more confidence, you enter into situations a little bit better, a little bit more prepared, and you navigate them with ease. Motherhood is one of them. Motherhood is probably one of the most difficult jobs on the fucking planet. So you have to be ready for the unexpected. And you have to wait until you're ready. And you cannot compare your timeline. You cannot compare your capacity to someone else's, because it's not ever going to match. There are so many feelings in motherhood. It's joyful, it's happy, it's scared, it's anxious, it's angry, it's overstimulating, it's wonderful, and it's freeing, and it's sad, it's filled with peace, it's filled with a knowing and worry, and all these things can be true at the same time. It's so beautifully chaotic because all these things live in tandem with each other. All these things are true at the very same time. Every day, all these emotions live here on the surface constantly. So it is going to be very chaotic, but it is going to be very beautiful and very worth it. I am a woman who is very much in tune with her divine feminine energy, and I found mine when I became a mom. And I show up in the chaos, this beautiful, wonderful chaos. And that's where the magic lives. It lives in the mess, the balancing act, the healing, the raising, the organizing, the juggling, the running. It lives in everything. And we do everything. As women, we do it all. There's one thing to get through it, but then it's another to handle it, to conquer it, to adapt to it, and to handle all these things flawlessly and gracefully and filled with the absolute most wonderful love. Because personally, that makes us bad as a mother. And that's it for today's episode. If you cannot get enough of me the same way I cannot get enough of you, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe everywhere that you get your Latinaly podcast. And make sure you share this podcast episode with a woman in your life who's also bad as a mother. I'm your host, Kiah Burgos. This is the Latinaly podcast, where we are untamed, uncensored, and always unapologetic. I'll see you next week.